implants have come a very, very long way. From my first implant that I placed, give or take 30 years ago, it was a pretty crude exercise. We wanted to replace a missing tooth, and it was either a denture, a bridge, or an implant. And implants in those days was a very, very basic design. It was a straight implant. We placed the implants and we had limited options to restore them. And as time progressed, more and more companies started manufacturing implants. And we started getting implants that are specifically designed for areas in the mouth. We started seeing wider and narrower implants. And a lot of the complications of implants were sorted out over the years. Surfaces on the implant changed, the angled implants came about, and all of a sudden we could really restore a dental occlusion with an implant. And for the last 5 or pretty much 10 years, implants have really taken a new leap. We've pretty much understand what we can do with an implant. The problem now becomes the surgical component of the implant. A very good implant means absolutely nothing if it is placed incorrectly. We had to live with the complications that were there. Today, the demand for placing an implant is extremely high. Today, we know that the patient needs high aesthetics, the gum must be perfect, the implant must be placed extremely accurate to the correct position, the correct angle. And that's always been a problem, because the only way that you could really see the angle, you either had to manufacture a stent that you placed in the mouth and you had to work through that. The problem is that most of the stents were inaccurate by themselves. And once things started getting bloody and messy, most surgeons just pushed the stent away, did the implant freehand. For the last year or so, we've had the advantage that we can now see what we're doing without having to cut the patient open. We've got a Navident, which is a surgical tool that helps us to see as we're drilling where we are in the bone, whether we're straight or angled or what that perfect position is. So whatever we plan is what we end up with at the end of the day. The big advantage is the surgical procedure is small. We don't have to cut the patient open to see the bone. There's an old saying that says, if you cut, you cry. The less I cut a patient and the less I damage tissue, the better the outcome for a patient. So today I prefer to place all my implants under surgical guidance, less invasive for the patient and better long-term results.
Your dentist, your choice.